The 3Conferences by Mr. Steves. Prince Edward Island, home of Anne of Green Gables, Cavendish potatoes, Bud the Spud, and his creator, Stompin' Tom Connors. And sometimes Mike Duffy lives here too. But what Prince Edward Island is probably most famous for is for hosting the first of the 3 conferences that led to the birth of Canada. Let me explain how. In 1864, Canada was made up of several British colonies, each with its own system of government. In charge of these colonies was the governor, who was appointed by the Queen. This governor would then appoint all of his friends to help him run the government and tell the people what to do, while the people would elect representatives to the Legislative Assembly. These representatives would write bills and ask the governor to approve them, and the governor would usually say no, and all of his friends would say no, and this would make the people feel sad. So the people decided to consider making their own country, controlled by their own people and not by the governor. But they were too scared to go it alone. Each colony was too small to defend themselves from American invasions. Like these guys, the Fenians, and later these guys. So the people of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island decided to send representatives to Charlottetown to talk about a maritime union. Something like Prince Nova Brunswick, I guess. And this became the first of the 3 conferences. Well, the people of Canada East and Canada West heard about this meeting and decided that they would like to be part of this new country as well. So they sent their own representatives, John A. Macdonald from Canada West, and Georges Etienne Cartier from Canada East, and others to Charlottetown to crash the party. When Macdonald arrived, he had to wait a while because there was a huge festival going on in Charlottetown. And besides, who would pass up a good batch of roasted peanuts for a bunch of guys from Canada East and Canada West? But eventually, John Hamilton Gray borrowed a rowboat and brought the men to shore. Apparently, they liked what John A. had to say, or perhaps they liked his crazy hair, because they decided to meet again a bit later in Quebec City and took this picture before they left. Here you could see John A., the new man of the hour, and here's Cartier. And over in the corner, with his very fashionable top hat, is Mr. Steves. Yes, I said it. Mr. William Henry Steves, a representative from Albert County, New Brunswick. So off they went to Quebec City to meet again and what would become the second of the 3 conferences. This time, Newfoundland sent representatives as well, and they drew up 72 resolutions about how they wanted to run their country, including such things as federalism, in which you have a provincial government in charge of some things and a federal government in charge of other things. They also included representation by population, in which regions with large populations would have more representation in the government than regions with smaller populations. In this picture you could see John A. again and Cartier, and of course with his fashionable top hat, Mr. Steves. Story has it that the real action took place during the fancy balls between all the meetings. Apparently, Mr. Steves decided to take along his attractive daughters instead of his wife, who danced with the representatives and helped them to become more interested in getting to know the Maritimes. So it can be said with some truth that Confederation was the result of the good looks of maritime women. By the end of the conference, four of the colonies, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Canada East, and Canada West, decided to join together to form a new country. So they needed to get the official approval of the Queen. See, the colonists didn't want to fight a war against England, but to achieve their independence peacefully through an act of British Parliament. So they went to London, England for the last of the 3 conferences, where they had tea and decided on the new name for this country, the Dominion of Canada, a name coined by Samuel Tilley, who, like Steve's, was also from New Brunswick. In time, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, and the western provinces joined this new country to become the great country that we have today. The Confederation Bridge. It stands as a physical symbol of Prince Edward Island's ties to the rest of Canada, of the promise of unity forged by the colonies over 100 years ago in Charlottetown, and of the strength of Canada's unity in the face of political storms that over time have rocked the very foundation of our political system. Did they make the right choice at these 3 conferences? Only time will tell. But to me, I must say what we say in fashion. If the hat fits, wear it. The 3 conferences. Brought to you by Mr. Steve's and Gecko Steve's YouTube channel. Keep calm and get a gecko.